There are lots of negative forecasts in news media about property prices in 2024, but if you own real estate or you're planning to get into the market, do not be alarmed. At this time every year, media is awash with pessimistic forecasts for real estate prices. Most of the time they're proven wrong by subsequent outcomes. Now remember when COVID struck early in 2020, media reports abounded with forecasts that house prices would collapse, but they didn't, and in fact prices rose by the end of 2020, and at the start of 2021 most forecasters agreed prices would rise that year, but only by 5 or 6%. But by the end of the year, house prices had appreciated by an average of 25%. And then at the beginning of 2023, we were told by bank economists and media commentators that prices would drop at least 15% because interest rates were rising. But yet again, they were not only wrong, but spectacularly so. Prices have grown in most markets across Australia this year, including price rises above 10% in some cities. So as we head into 2024, the usual suspects are popping up with their price forecast, and you guessed it, they're mostly pessimistic. The news media is happy to publish them because they like negative sensation, and despite the dreadful track record of so many of the forecasters whose views they're publishing. Essentially, journalists don't care about the credibility, or in particular the lack of it, of the commentators. Anyone willing to stand up and declare that prices will collapse or plummet or nosedive or fall off a cliff is guaranteed lots of free publicity, which is why the people putting out press releases usually make negative forecasts with dire warnings about real estate matters, because they know that a screaming negative is the shortcut to a high media profile, content in the knowledge that no journalist in Australia will ever challenge them about getting it wrong all the time. Now, an example of the mindset of the average journalist and how it translates into misinformation for Australian consumers is provided by media reaction to the boom and bust report published in November each year by the experienced analyst Louis Christopher of SQM Research. Each year, this report presents 4 different scenarios to forecast what might happen with house prices in the coming year. Now, each scenario assumes different outcomes with interest rates or inflation and unemployment, with various price predictions for each different scenario. Now, journalists, being the sad, pathetic creatures that they are, will always zero in on the most negative of the 4 scenarios and make that their story. So headlines lately have been screaming that prices will fall in 2024 in the big cities, according to this report. Now, it's worth noting that the boom and bust report a year ago had fairly pessimistic forecasts for Australian property prices in 2023, with prices tipped to fall almost everywhere except Perth in the worst case scenario amongst the 4 that were presented, but prices in fact have been rising steadily right throughout 2023. Now, the senior economist at ANZ Bank, arguably the worst real estate forecasters in the nation, recently popped up with a report describing a triple whammy of factors that will drag down property markets in 2024. And we should remember that ANZ was amongst those who forecast huge price decline in 2023, and now they're at it again. Now, journalists and bank economists have a number of things in common. One is that they're pessimistic by nature. Number 2 is that they're not very good at their jobs. Number 3, they're slow learners. And number 4, they're not interested in helping people. They just want to generate headlines. So if you're a property investor and you have a plan, tune out all the media white noise and just get on with it.